Hey everybody, thanks for joining White Dog Outdoors. Today we're going to be tying a fly that I call the Foam Caddis. As with all the fly tying videos that we're doing this winter, we are doing a giveaway. We're giving away half a dozen of the flies that we're tying. To take part in the giveaway, all you have to do is be a subscriber on the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment letting us know what kinds of videos you guys want to see. And at the end of this video, we're going to be announcing the winner from the last video that we did. And that was the video for tying the sexy stonefly, an awesome yarrow nymph. If you're interested in that video, click the banner at the top of the screen. Let's get started with the Foam Caddis. This is an awesome fly for small stream wild trout. I tie flies out of necessity. Basically, I want to be able to tie flies that fit a certain purpose. And this is one of those flies. This is one that I've tinkered with, basically, and kind of made it the way I want to perform the way that I want. And I'm just going to go over it really quickly, but there's a foam underbody to this fly, which on small streams is really awesome because it helps it float. One of the big problems you run into on small streams is you're catching a lot of small fish and there's a lot of turbulent water. That fly is going to get waterlogged and sink pretty quickly. This fly will stay on top pretty much all day. That foam keeps it floating really well. The other key to this is the elk hair wing. The elk hair is very bright colored. There's two things I care about when I'm fishing for wild trout in a small stream. I want to be able to see the fly easily and I want to make sure it floats. This elk hair wing really helps it stand out. You can tie it with a deer hair. The deer hair is significantly darker than the elk hair. I mean, you just see how it stands out here. Imagine that on a stream. The elk hair just stands out so much better. So I really like the elk hair over the deer hair. Those are the two most important things about this fly. So why don't we go ahead and get started. For this fly, I am just using a size 14 dry fly hook. I am experimenting a little bit more lately with different style hooks. This here is not the hook that I'm using, but this is actually a great one. I really like this style of hooks. It's a little bit longer shank, but still a really small hook. I use a lot of these for the flies that I tie, and this would be a great one to use for this fly as well. Really works well with small stream trout because they're small. And even though it's a little bit bigger fly, you tend to get a really good hookup percentage with these flies because of the way the hook is shaped. For now, I'm not using that fly, I'm just using a regular old, this is just a must-add dry fly hook. Okay, we're going to start off with a red thread. I'm going to coat the shank of the hook with a red thread. This is just a 70 red thread. And the idea here is that I just want to give it a little bit of color underneath, so I'm going to coat that hook shank with a little bit of red thread. Alright. I'm going to snip that guy off. Alright, the first thing that we're going to lay on is our foam. The first thing I would say about the foam is don't buy this at a fly shop. You can buy huge sheets of this at a craft store. This is a 12 by 18 sheet that I cut in half for 99 cents. You buy it at a fly store, you're gonna get a couple little squares for several dollars. So it's the same stuff. It's 2mm foam. It's really all you need. So just get them at a craft store. And all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try to cut a little diamond out of it. All right. So I basically just have a little diamond of foam. All right. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to want to tie this in so that it hangs just a little bit past the bend of the hook. I used to tie this so that the hook would actually go through the base of the foam and then back through at the top. What I found is I actually recommend not doing that. Just tie it in at the tip. The reason I recommend not doing that is when this fly, you're catching fairly small trout with these guys, and when you want that hook to hang a little bit lower in the water. If you have too much in the way, like that foam gets in the way, it floats a little too high. My hookup percentage was less when I tried to hook the hook through the foam and then tie in. I did not like the performance of it, and this is again exactly why I like to tie my own flies because I can adapt exactly what I want to for that fly. So I'm going to tie that in just beyond the hook shank. I'm going to start a little bit on my side because as I tie this, it's going to turn just a little bit on me, and that's okay. You can tie these things in and then move them around a little bit, but you can see I got my foam tied in, and it's pretty well centered on the hook there, just like I want. And you'll notice when this floats, this floats up, so the hook is going to be a little bit below the water. It's exactly what I want. Okay. All right. The next step, you know, there's an optional step here. Sometimes I'll tie in a little bit of krystal flash just to give the underwing a little bit of flash to it. Honestly, probably not necessary, so I'm not going to tie it here, but if you wanted to, you just add a couple strands of krystal flash underneath that. And we're basically going to move right to the elk hair wing. I'm going to take a decent amount of the elk hair. I'm going to take these, I'm going to put them in a hair stacker. I'm going to get those tips aligned. Alright, now when I pull these out of here, the tips should be pretty well aligned. I'm going to grab them by the tips and just pull out any stragglers that aren't even. Now I do have a lot of fibers here. I may pull some of these out. That's a lot of wing. I do like a lot of wing though, because two things. The deer hair or the elk hair is really coarse and it's hollow, so it really provides a lot of flotation. And on some of those streams, you know, your fly is tumbling all over the place, so that flotation is really, really important. And then, you know, the bright color. The more you have of that wing, that's really what you're going to see. So the more wing you have, the better you're going to be able to see that fly tumbling through the water. All right. Now, the more you have, though, the harder it is to tie in, because it's going to want to spin around. The harder you're going to have to pull, and the more likely you are potentially to break your thread. So it's a delicate process, but I'm going to lay these in here. I want them to be just a tiny bit longer than the foam that I have. All right, I'm going to hold them with my left hand. I'm going to do 2 loose wraps. Just like this. I'm going to tilt them a little bit toward me because they're going to want to turn a little bit. I'm going to pull straight down and try to pull them out. I don't want to pull too hard because I can break my thread, but if I don't pull hard enough, they're going to want to swing around a little bit. All right? You see they're splaying out. I'm kind of holding on to the wing part of it with my hand. All right, that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to lock them in a little bit more. I'm going to pull these up and maybe just do a couple wraps in front and try to lock that in a little bit more. All right, now, looks like I got a mess, right? That's okay. We're going to clean this stuff up. Unlike an elk hair caddis, normal caddis, I don't want to leave a head on these guys. I got to get some hackle in here, so I want to clean this up as much as possible. So I'm going to cut these off, and I'm going to do my best to clean this up. I want to clean this up as much as possible to allow me to put my hackle in here. And again, that's one of the tricks. You're going to want to learn a balance of how much you want to put in here for your wing, because it is going to make it more difficult to tie. Okay. Now I got that in. I like the position of it too. It's good. It's kind of evenly spread over. If you see from the top, it looks like it's pretty even. From the bottom, it looks pretty even. So I really, that's a good one. I'm just going to tighten that down a little bit. This is going to make it a little bit harder to tie in my hackle. All right, the last step of this really is we're going to tie in a couple pieces of hackle. And so this is, again, provided for flotation. I have 2 different kinds of hackle here. We're going to do a grizzly. And this grizzly is a saddle hackle. It's a little easier to work with. It's longer. And it's about the right size. And then I just have some ginger hackle that is from a cape, so it's a little bit shorter to work with. And so, you know, we're probably going to use hackle pliers for these ones, but I'm going to tie in the grizzly first because I'm going to wrap that one last. Okay, I'm going to start. You want to start with the butt end of the feather. Now pull the fibers out a little bit, and we're going to do our best to trim off several of those fibers because that's what we're going to tie in. Okay. All right, we're going to tie that in at roughly a 45-degree angle. All right, we're going to tie that in. And we're going to do the same thing with the ginger. I'm going to pull this again back as well. I'm going to get rid of the webby part of it. Okay, I'm going to clip that off at the base. And pull the fibers out a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing where we're going to clip those as close to the quill as possible. A little hard to do when I don't, when I'm freehanding it here. Okay. And again, we're going to tie that in also at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to get those in. Alright. I'm going to try to clean up the head of this as much as I can with those little pieces I just tied in, but it is pretty short. Okay. Okay, so if we're going to start with the ginger, I am going to start with a pair of hackle pliers for this one because it's a little bit tight. Alright, we're going to start back and we're going to gently wrap one layer over the other, trying to provide a little bit of hackle. Again, this is for a little bit of body and flotation. Okay, we're going to tie that off. Clip that out. And then I got the saddle hackle here. This will be a little bit easier to wrap. Now the second hackle fiber that you're putting in, this is why I saved the longer fiber for last. It's going to be a little easier to work with. You don't want to knock down any of the existing fibers that you already put in. So as you're going through and doing this, you can kind of move them back and forth a little bit like this, wiggle them, and it'll work its way in between the fibers that you've already laid down. Alright, and we'll get in that and tie that off as well. And again, you just work your way from the back to the eye of the hook. Trying not to crowd the hook too much. You want to make sure you can be able to get your fine tippet through there. Okay. I do have a couple of fibers I'm going to end up trying to clip out of here. I don't want them getting in the way of me trying to get my tippet in there. Okay. It's just a really minor cleanup. Okay. I'm going to do a little more cleanup on this fly once I get it tied off a little bit. I'm going to put just a couple wraps in here, and then we are going to finish with a whip finish. Put a couple of wraps on here for that. And I'm just doing a real quick one here. Alright, we'll cut our thread out. And now we're going to do a little bit of a cleanup here. So there's a couple of things I want to do. Okay, first of all, I got a thick piece here that got stuck in there, so we'll pull him out of there. First of all, I want to clean out the eye. We'll get rid of any of the little tiny fibers that are around the eye. This is where getting old and having glasses would probably help. Okay. Now the other thing that I want to do, and I'll flip this up a little bit so you can see, and this one's pretty good. I actually don't really have too many fibers down below there. If you get the elk hair fibers down below the foam, I generally try to clean those out. And the reason is I want that hook to hang down. Any of those fibers are going to cause that fly to float up on the water a little bit further. I don't necessarily want that to happen. I like that hook being a little bit further down in the water, and basically I want to make sure there's no fibers down in here that are going to hold it up or get in the way of getting an easy hook set. I find that does make a little bit of a difference. Okay, so I mean that actually wraps up that fly really well. You know, these don't have to be super clean flies. They're small trout that live in small streams, and they basically attack a fly that's coming by usually if they're hitting dries. So you know, I really bring I use two flies mostly when I go small stream fishing. I use this dry fly because it's awesome, it floats, and really easy to see. And then I also use it's kind of like a slump buster type streamer that's tied like a Sculpzilla, and the hook hangs much further back, that I kind of designed for brook trout and small stream trout. That'll probably be the topic of our next fly tying video, because it is definitely one of my favorites. So anyway, this is the Foam Caddis. Hope you guys liked it. Remember, if you want to take part in the giveaway, be a subscriber on the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. I'm always interested in finding out what you guys want to see in terms of videos, whether they're trip videos, fly tying videos, you know, different kinds of how-to videos. you know, I want to make sure I put out the content that you guys are looking for. So, all right, this is the Foam Caddis. I hope you guys can use this. I hope it helps you improve your fishing and you can catch a few fish on them. And remember, right now we're going to be doing the drawing for the sexy stonefly. Again, if you want to see the sexy stonefly, check out the links in the bottom of the video. And then any of the materials and devices that I use in any of my videos, you can find the links down in the description of this video. All right, thanks for hanging out with us, and let's do the drawing for the sexy stoneflies. Hey everybody, it's time to do the drawing from our last fly tying video, the sexy stonefly. I have my little assistant, Caitlin.
Hi.
I've got everybody's name in a hat who commented on the video, so you had to do 3 things. You had to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on the video to let us know what kinds of things you guys would like to see. So I have everybody entered right here for the 6 sexy stoneflies, and my little assistant, Caitlin, is going to draw a name out of the hat. And the winner is
Mike
Sorrento. Mike Sorrento, congratulations. I'll be responding to the comment that you left on the sexy stonefly video, and you'll have 6 sexy stoneflies coming your way. Congratulations, and thanks everybody for watching. Again, you know, every fly tying video that we're going to be doing, we're going to be giving away a half-dozen flies just like this. So keep watching, keep commenting, and thanks for watching us.